Hi, everyone. The meeting of the Public Safety Commission has been called to order. Leading our Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be Commissioner Pilarski, and if you can stand, please do so. Thank you. Commission Secretary, may I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Eng.
Oh, sorry. Can I back up for 1 second? We begin to acknowledge that the land on which we gather, that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood, is the occupied and unceded seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Quiche peoples. Now may I get a roll call, Commission Secretary? Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Eng.
Present.
Commissioner Hallman.
Here.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Here.
Commissioner Post.
Here.
Commissioner Winnick.
Here.
Vice Chair Blau.
Here.
Chair Harrison.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda for July 27th, 2026?
Can we just do a clarification of the report for the ambassadors?
That has been updated.
Okay.
Yes.
So seeing no changes, can I please get a roll call, Commission Secretary?
Commissioner Eng.
Yes.
Commissioner Hallman.
Aye.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Commissioner Winnick.
Yes.
Vice Chair Blau.
Aye.
Chair Harrison.
Aye.
The agenda is approved.
Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes for June 22nd, 2026? Yes or no? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
Thank you. May I please get a roll call, Commission Secretary?
Commissioner Eng.
Abstain.
Commissioner Hallman.
Aye.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Commissioner Winnick.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blau.
Aye.
Chair Harrison.
Aye.
The minutes are approved.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers at this time? Comments in the room or in Zoom?
We have no Zoom comments, but we do have some here in chambers. First speaker is Kevin Burton. Kevin, you will have 10 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Kevin Burton, City of West Hollywood. I just want to bring to your attention this evening a problem that has been ongoing and recently flared up involving assaults on law enforcement officers. Specifically, these are parking enforcement officers. There have been several recent, one of which sent an officer to the hospital with a broken cheekbone. And I know that the Parking Services Division is in a different department from Community Safety, so this commission doesn't consider them very often, if ever. And I would suggest that you folks do think about them, discuss issues facing that arm of law enforcement in the city from time to time in order to address problems that they have with retaining staff because they're being threatened and assaulted on a regular basis. If a deputy was attacked and their bones broken, it would be front page news. But if the parking enforcement officers enforcing laws are attacked, nobody knows about it. And I don't think that's appropriate, and I would request this commission liaise with the manager of the Parking Services Division to find out what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have Stephanie Harker.
Good evening, Commissioners. Stephanie Harker, City of West Hollywood. First, I'd just like to thank Mayor Heilman and Vice Mayor Hang and Councilmember Meister for their yes vote on continuing with the flock cameras. To take those away is basically defunding the police, and we can't have that. I believe that the live feed cameras were responsible for catching the burglary that happened at the U.S. Bank. And who knows where he might have gone after that and did some other things. So even though we're all from, well, I am, some of you are too young for having read 1984 before 1984 happened. Big Brother is watching. Big Brother's been watching for many, 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 many years. And if your information is out there, it's out there. We don't want to take these away as a good tool for the sheriffs. We don't want to take the cameras away in the elevator you rode up or down in, or in public places where criminals can be caught. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next, we have Nick Roybal. Nick, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Some of you may have seen my written comment sent to the Commission this morning. Others may have caught my op-ed in WeHo Online. I'm organizing a campaign called Flock Off for the people who live, work, and pass through this city. They deserve to know plainly what's being collected on them every time they drive these streets. As I wrote this morning, this is a $1.47 million no-bid contract with a current 7% hit rate. And as I told you in writing, this was never a safety tool with a few kinks left to work out. A week ago, this council voted to keep Flock running. So let's be honest about what that is. A camera on every road in and out of this city, logging every plate, building a record that doesn't forget who was where and when. Nobody consented to that record, and everybody is in it now. This city calls itself a sanctuary. That word deserves better than what this council just renewed.
Thank you, Nick. Next, we have Tom DeMille. Tom, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi. I get 3 minutes? I hope this is on. Test, yeah. Hi, my name is Tom DeMille. I'm a resident for 35 years. I have to, sorry, you guys are kicking all this stuff around. Let's get real, okay? Just as a crow flies, 7 miles this way, east and south, we have the 10th largest, ugliest criminal city in the world. In the world. They're just right there. They're right there. And they're ready to come here. They're ready to come here. They love Rainbow District. Can't wait to come there. Give the sheriff anything he or she wants, first of all, and that comes from the higher up. They know what they're doing. I don't know why anyone here is involved in this stuff. This stuff has already been decided, and for the best. Public safety isn't walking down the street and not falling down. That's not what, it's part of public safety. Public safety is when you leave your house, you come back to the same house. That everything is still there. That's what public safety is. What will stop all this crap from happening when I'm elected in November is that we will establish something that we don't have in this city. We haven't had it in a long time. We will restore that again. It's called hospitality. You don't think any of this crap would happen if it was in the front of the Four Seasons? You don't think any of this would happen if it was in front of the Ivy? None of that would happen. We need to pick it up in West Hollywood to make sure that the 36,000 residents, our fellow residents that count on you and me now, to make sure that they're safe, not only in their homes, but to come out into the Rainbow District and not feel threatened at all, and feel welcome, because it's their city. It's your city. It's my district. It's your district. It's our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Our next speaker is Steve Martin. Steve, you will have 3 minutes.
Steve Martin, West Hollywood, resident of the East Side. How is everybody? Nick Roybal sent out an invitation for us to come to the meeting and discuss the flock cameras, so I'm taking him up on that. You know, there's so few resources that actually work in law enforcement, and we've worked really hard to try to find something that does. And the flock cameras really do bring a level of protection that we didn't previously have. Now, I know some of you have been skeptical of the cameras. A few months ago, a couple of you were at our neighborhood watch meeting, and people were confronting Captain Lapkin about their beliefs and their concerns about the flock camera. And I think you could tell by the applause that Captain Lapkin received that there's large support, at least in our organization, Eastside Neighborhood Watch, for these cameras. That support is not irrational, and we understand that there's drawbacks, but we do believe that we need to approach this with a sense of both balance and responsibility. And the first responsibility for the City Council, and indeed for this commission, is the safety of our residents. Unfortunately, this issue has become politicized, idealized, but you know, we never really recovered from the whole controversy about defunding the police. And there just seems to be a replication of people who supported defunding the sheriff who are now carrying the banner for getting rid of flock. And I don't know what you're doing to us, but you're not helping. And I really wish that we could try to come together, find some consensus on issues instead of dividing this community and dividing the country. Because all we're doing here in West Hollywood is looking for issues that divide people and hand this country back to Donald Trump. And I really think that people need to start exercising a certain air of responsibility. So before you go spouting off about West Hollywood's need to endorse polyamorous rights, or if you're in LA, granting immigrants the right to vote, yeah, that may all sound great, but we live in a big country, and we live in really dangerous times. And if all you're trying to do is add fuel to division and deliver this country back to the reactionaries, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And our final speaker is Helen Krieger. Helen, you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. This will be a very short update. I'm Helen Krieger. I'm your liaison from the Transportation and Mobility Commission. We did very little at our last meeting. I just wanted to give you a report so you didn't think that I forgot about you. We named a new chair and vice chair because we all serve one-year terms. And so the new chair is Commissioner Steve Green, and I'm the new vice chair. And then in terms of... Thank you, guys. And then in terms of our look-ahead calendar, our next meeting is on August 19th, and we're going to be doing a parking study update. And I think that it's specifically going to be about the street floras, but they are also going to tell us how they do parking studies in general and what are the things that they look at, and they're going to give a little summary of that. So if any of you are interested in that, that will be August 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. And that is all the public speakers.
Thank you. And I see we have no unfinished business, so we'll move on to our own elections tonight. For electing our new chair and vice chair. A little guidance, maybe. We don't have anything on here. Can I nominate?
All right, well, I will be facilitating that. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, and members of the public. My name is Jessica Anicum, a Public Safety Specialist and Secretary to the Public Safety Commission. The City Clerk's Division is unable to attend this evening's meeting, so I will facilitate the election of the Chair and Vice Chair on their behalf. Before we begin the election process, I'd like to briefly review the applicable bylaw requirements. In accordance with the Commission's bylaws, the Commission elects the Chair and Vice Chair at its first meeting in July for a one-year term. To be eligible for nomination, a Commissioner must have served on the Commission for at least 6 months prior to today's election, unless no eligible member is available to serve. As Commissioner Winnick will complete 6 months of service after this month, she's not eligible for nomination this evening under the Commission's bylaws. In addition, a Commissioner may not serve more than one consecutive term as Chair, and the current Chair is not eligible for nomination as Vice Chair. So we'll begin by opening nominations for each position. After nominations close, we'll conduct a roll call vote, and if needed, a runoff election will be held to break a tie. So we will first conduct the election for Chair, followed by the election for Vice Chair. And I will now open up nominations for the office of Chair. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Vice Chair Blau for
Second.
Chair.
I'll second that.
Third, for what it's worth.
What I'll do is I'm going to just go do a roll call and call
Great.
everyone's name, and then you'll just let me know.
Great.
Let me know if you want to. Actually, before we do that, was there any other nominations for Chair?
Not for Chair, I don't believe. No.
Okay, we'll do it just
Let's
to
do
do it, but yeah. Okay.
It's part of the policy.
Commissioner Eng,
Yes.
Commissioner Hallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Pilarski,
Yes.
Commissioner Post,
Yes.
Commissioner Winnick,
Yes.
Vice Chair Blau,
Yes.
Chair Harrison.
Yes.
All right,
I'm found out.
our new chair.
Thank you.
So we have Chair Blau as our new chair of the Public Safety Commission.
Well, thank you to everybody on the commission. I appreciate the vote of confidence, and I'll be looking to my past chairs as inspiration and support through this next year. So thank you.
Awesome. So let's open up the nominations for Vice Chair. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Post.
Second.
Third.
Okay, are there any other nominations? All right, so for formality, we'll go ahead and just still do a roll call vote. Commissioner Eng,
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner Hallman,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Pilarski,
Yes.
Commissioner Post,
Yes.
Commissioner Winnick,
Oh, I suppose.
Vice Chair Blau,
Yes for post.
and Chair Harrison.
100% yes.
Awesome. So we have our new Vice Chair, Commissioner Post. That was easy, thank you.
Thank you
Welcome.
all.
Thank you.
Look forward to supporting our chair as he endeavors and hopefully have some great conversations about parliamentary procedure. So.
I'm sure everyone is very excited about that. Okay. Well, thank you. Do I hand it over now? Can I just give it to him, or do I?
So for the remainder of, we're just going to continue as is, and then our next meeting, you guys will be in the new.
I tried. Okay. Forgive me. We're going to move on to the appointment of a commission liaison. For 8B, the commission will receive an update on Phase 2 of the Plummer Park Comprehensive Improvement Plan and designate a commissioner to serve as a liaison to the Plummer Park Planning Working Group.
Chair, we need a minute. The PowerPoint's
We're having
not
some
loading.
technical issues tonight.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. I'm Rick Abramson, City Architect. I manage the Urban Design and Architecture Studio. As you, I hope, are aware, the city is undertaking a major re-examination of Plummer Park. This will actually be the third time that it's going through a kind of grand revisioning. And so a comprehensive improvement plan process is underway. It's a phased process in which phase one was a community engagement, public outreach effort. That phase is now completed. We have quite a lot of input that came from the community. It is posted on our website and the Engage WeHo platform for those who want to read the results. And so the first phase focused on what we call the what and the why. Basically, what is successful, what is contributing to the vibrancy of Plummer Park that we want to protect and ensure that it remains, and where are the opportunities for the future to fill gaps, to rethink both on the programming side and the facility side. And so out of that, we're now moving into phase two, which we're calling the where and the how. And that's much more difficult. It's easy to collect ideas and aspirations, but it's another thing to translate those into a physical reality. So that's what we're going to be doing. In order to do that, the City Council has directed us to form a city manager appointed working group. That working group is going to be made up of 2 commissioners from the Historic Preservation Commission, 2 commissioners from the Public Facilities Commission, because those 2 commissions have direct purview over the park. It's also going to be made up of certain professionals who have an expertise that is critical to the functioning of a park, whether that be in park programming or operations, whether it be in ecology and sustainability, in signage and wayfinding. You know, we want a very complete working group that brings a lot of different lenses. But we also want to make sure that the various boards and commissions who aren't part of the actual working group can still participate in the process. So we've come up with this liaison concept in which we're asking the boards and commissions who do have a stake in the park to send a representative to the meeting and be the sort of ambassador, the bridge between what is happening in the working group and the individual boards and commissions. And so what we're setting up is on a voluntary basis. A board and commission can determine whether they would like to send a liaison. And if they would, the meetings are going to be on Tuesday evenings. They are going to be commencing in mid-September and probably run for about 4 or 5 months. We're probably looking at February, maybe even March, depending on schedule and holidays. They will take place every 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, because there will be a gap between meetings. This will be a working group, so it's not going to be a lot of additional opinion gathering, but it's actually going to be testing of ideas, analyzing pros and cons, looking at potential ways to move forward. So the boards and commissions, as I said, are welcome to send a representative. You're also, if interested, welcome to appoint an alternate if that person can't attend, if you feel like you want to be kept up to date. One of the things I wanted to share with you is in our outreach on the left of the screen is sort of a word cloud that represents the different themes and vibes that came out of the outreach. And the larger the word, the more often it came up. And you'll notice that safe and secure was one of the key elements that was a repeated theme. We did hear comments about navigating through the park, especially at night, signage and wayfinding. There are some blind areas that are not as accessible to first responders. So a lot of that conversation has already come up, and going forward, we anticipate it will continue to do so. So having a liaison from public safety would be very helpful to have that lens in the room. What we are looking at doing is developing at least 3 or 4 potential futures for the park, what we're calling right now low, medium, and high impact. The low impact would be something that's relatively short-term, immediately implementable. It would focus on things like enhanced signage and lighting, enhanced planting, but not really changing much of the positioning and footprints of the activities currently in the park. A medium impact would be sort of a middle ground where we might revisit certain facilities and certain new opportunities to insert in the park that would take a little bit longer, require more evaluation, analysis, cost, time. It would also necessitate looking at staging. You know, do we close part of the park for part of the year or 2 years? And then the high impact approach would be looking at really restructuring the park for the next 100 years. Looking at perhaps new buildings, repositioning things in better places, trying to meet as many of the community goals as possible. That would be a much longer term effort, much more costly. And so right now we don't have a specific direction other than to look at these opportunities, work with the City Council's ad hoc subcommittee to then bring a final set of options to the City Council for consideration. So what we're here tonight to do is to determine whether or not the Commission would like to appoint a liaison. I've listed sort of the primary roles and responsibilities for this individual. But it's primarily to attend and to familiarize with the reports to date and the assessments, and be that bridge and bring back to the Commission for your discussions, however you want to agendize it. And if you would like to provide feedback to your liaison to bring back to the working group if you have concerns and considerations, we'd be very, very happy about that. So I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to you to determine how to best move forward. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for that. Commissioners, anyone would like to join?
I just have a quick question. Do you have a open space public safety consultant contracted through the city as part of the design team? Or is it just landscape architects and wayfinding? And
Yeah, we don't have an open space consultant per se. We have had initial conversations with the Sheriff's Department, with the Recreation Services Division, who receives a lot of the complaints. But going forward, if that's something that we feel, you know, is necessary, that's something we'd be open to.
Any other questions, or more importantly, is anyone interested in acting as a liaison?
I have one question,
Okay.
actually, for Rick. Can you tell me what other commissions are participating or have been invited?
Other than the 2 who have the seats, we're going to be going to the Russian Advisory Board, the Disability Advisory Board, the Older Adults Advisory Board, the Transportation Commission, the Arts and Cultural Affairs Commission, and one more that I'm missing off the top of my head.
Sorry, can you tell me how many, you were counting on your fingers, how many is that?
I think we have 8.
So 8 out of I think there are 11. Is there 11 total that we have, commissions?
I think there's a little bit more than that with the commissions and advisory boards.
I think 15, yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Just my 2 cents. I think we should have representation, a liaison at the public, at the Palmer
agree.
Park.
I agree.
Chair, excuse me, I have a question. Maybe I missed it. When will the meetings start?
They're starting in mid-September.
Mid-September, okay.
Tuesday evenings.
And you said they go
at
through
Plummer
February,
Park.
through to February or March. Is that...
Roughly, yeah.
Do we have anyone?
I mean, I'm happy to volunteer. I was on the original East Side Working Group 100 years ago, and I am a long-term East Side resident, so.
I think that would be great. Commissioner Hallman, thank you.
I would just want to also put myself up as a co-lead. I've designed a few parks in my professional career and have had some experience in the open space emergency planning. So if I can
Let's go
do a
together.
co-load. Let's go together.
Great.
Thank you.
And I will say the meetings are open to the public. Anybody's welcome to attend, and we will reserve time for the liaisons if they have items to bring forward. That will be part of the structure of the meetings as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Rick. And thank you, Commissioner Pilarski and Commissioner Hallman, for joining.
Chair.
Public comments?
Yes, we do have one public
you.
comment. Stephanie Harker.
I see you, Stephanie.
Stephanie Harker, City West Hollywood, and co-founder of Protect Plummer Park, which was founded in 2011. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Rick Abramson specifically, the council and public facilities, everyone who's been involved in this new phase. Phase one of the old plan, which I think started back in, I don't know, the 1994 maybe. I'm getting a yes from Rick. Was to, for our park, our neighborhood park, take out 256 trees, knock down the 2 historic buildings, and put in underground parking for 62 spaces in the middle of the neighborhood. Many in the community felt that that was not a good idea to take trees out of the park. Let's just stop there. Who would take 256 old-growth trees down for some underground parking? So fast forward, Mr. Abramson, thank you kindly. Thank you for your guidance and your leadership on this. I have spoken before that the group SWA, who is the consultant on this, is doing a wonderful job. And I would say, hands down, this project has now had the most significant public input of any project ever done by the city. There was some input before, but it was not significant. It was, okay, that's what you want, but here's what we're going to do. So now this is, what do you want? Here's what we're going to do. And the community members are so grateful for that. And we thank you very much. And I thank the council for finally approving the new Plummer Park plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. That's all the public comments.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Rick. Next up, we will hear from our allied Universal Security Ambassadors.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the June 2026 Security Ambassador Report. During the month of June, our Security Ambassadors completed a total of 5,670 hospitality assistance contacts. When compared to June 2025, hospitality assistance increased by 85%. Our team completed 1,891 business contacts. Compared to 2025, business contacts decreased by 70%. We conducted 657 unhoused contacts. Compared to June 2025, unhoused contacts decreased by 72%. Our ambassadors responded to 308 calls for service. Compared to June 2025, calls for service decreased by 75%. We provided 34 safety escorts. Compared to June 2025, safety escorts also decreased by 72%. Our ambassadors addressed 138 scooter-related contacts. Our security ambassadors requested assistance from Los Angeles County Sheriff Department on 50 occasions. When compared to June 2025, sheriff assistance increased by 11%. Our security ambassadors requested assistance from EMS and fire personnel on 29 occasions. When compared to June 2025, it increased by 12%. In addition, our ambassadors maintain an average response time of 6 minutes. This demonstrates our commitment to providing timely service throughout the city. To conclude the citywide overview, 657 calls were referred to the Homeless Concern Line. The program maintains staffing at 100%, and our team achieved 100% training. This concludes our June 2026 report, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Winnick?
I'm curious about the declines from last year to this year as the homeless numbers have increased and crime statistics have sort of woven in and out. How is it that there are so many lower requests for service from the ambassadors in several different areas? And I'm sorry, we don't have the numbers exactly in front of us, but I looked at it earlier this week and was struck by the decline also.
Yes. As far as the decline goes, the team has been more proactive where we are handling service calls while out on patrol, while out on bike patrol, vehicle patrol. So we are supporting the community, and we are prioritizing mainly when things are happening in real time.
So the real-time services don't show up anywhere in the records? Or where are we missing those? If you are doing real-time services, so rather than calls and referrals, where are the real-time services showing up?
They would be categorized whether in, for example, if it's an unhoused contact, it would be categorized as an unhoused contact rather than a service call, since the ambassador is handling it proactively rather than waiting on that phone call.
And just to add to that response, one thing that is different from the months that differ is Pride last year was in June, whereas this year it was in May. So there's a little bit of activity differentiation between the 2 months. And again, like Valerie mentioned, we have been really working closely proactively with our human services teams to really be out in the field and collaborating on addressing issues as they're coming up, to have to avoid the community having to call in and make those requests. But of course, it's a work in progress. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pilarski?
Hi there. I'm sorry I'm not able to direct you to a specific page, but it's one of the zones, I have it written down here, RD0971. It's a very small square on the map, but it seems to have enormous numbers associated with it. And I just wanted to know if I was reading that correctly or not. Not enormous numbers, but much larger numbers than the other larger areas.
Yes, I have that in front of me.
Okay.
Were you referring to what category, perhaps?
It seems to be larger than most, I don't know.
Hospitality assistance?
Yeah. It's such a small square.
Yeah, I have them here, and each of the categories appear to be orders of magnitude greater than the other zones,
Just
which are
go up one?
way larger. Yeah,
Sorry,
there you go.
it's on the west side. Yeah. This one, nope.
Yes, it's on City West.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is mainly hospitality assistance, the west side, that's where the nightlife is. Not only that, due to Pride being in June as well too, that elevated the data as well too. When it came to hospitality, we recorded 2,169.
Is there like a kiosk there? That looks like a building, like the size of a building.
There is a kiosk there. We have Robertson kiosk there.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's what we're logging.
That and the patrols as well too.
Got it. Okay.
I'm sorry, is that right in front of the bus station?
Yes, correct.
Commissioner Ng?
Done with this?
Commissioner Pilarski, are you?
Thank you. Hi, Valerie, and hi, Jackie. There is an unhoused individual on the east side by the name of Jackie Harrington, and I will bring this up with the sheriffs as well. Have you been notified or been getting calls about his activity? Because I've had a few neighbors reach out to let me know that he's back in the area. And I'm wondering, I guess, if you've gotten calls or if there's any coordination between you and the sheriffs about this sort of situation.
We've received several calls from several unhoused individuals on the east side, and yes, we do contact the sheriff deputies as needed. There are a few unhoused that we are very familiar with, and we are keeping that extra eye on them.
Okay, so you are aware of his, recent, and then I'll ask the rest of the sheriffs. Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Commissioner Blau?
Thank you, Chair. I have a quick question and feedback as well. So positive feedback, being able to text Allied for like help and support and when there's an issue going on is really helpful. It's easier than texting or than calling or using the WeHo app. And then I've also had, whoever mans the texting line respond as well and provide updates. So I think that's an amazing service and functionality. And I want to give props to that. I do have a question. How does that get represented? How do the text interactions with Allied get represented in the, I guess, the service KPIs that we see on a monthly basis?
We vary it depending on the category.
Okay.
So if it's a service call, it will fall under the service calls. If it's, most of them are service calls.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Post?
Yeah, thank you for the report. More so just want to express concerns for ambassador safety themselves. I'm sure you all are heard one of our public commenters saying there was an increase in law enforcement officers, specifically parking enforcement. Obviously, our security ambassadors have a parking enforcement type look to them as well. So just wanted to see if there's any increase in attacks on ambassadors themselves. And then also wanted to flag, I know it's super hot and going to continue to be hot in the coming days. I saw an ambassador in long pants and long sleeves and everything, and I thought, I don't know if that's the uniform. I'm sure there's multiple uniforms that they can wear to their liking, but it just looked really hot to me. So just making sure that they're aware of like heat stroke and things like that, I think is super important, especially because they're going to be walking and biking under the sun. So thank you.
Yes. We actually have training that Allied provides for ambassadors, especially during hot summers. And we're constantly reminding the team during briefings to make sure they stay hydrated, don't wear sweaters if it's really hot. They do have West Hollywood caps that they can wear as well too, and they're reminded to make sure if they're standing at a kiosk, stand under the shade. Together with that, the supervisors are also checking on them, conducting wellness checks just to make sure everybody's okay.
Commissioner Pilarski?
Thank you, Chair. So this question isn't about the reports, but I do have a question about communication protocol. So with some of the incidents that happened in our city recently, how were you guys able to get information out to the ambassadors? Was there some communication, or were they directed to the Sheriff's Department communication? How is that working?
Yes. We are in communication with the public safety team.
Okay.
Once the information comes to us, we do have a platform called Mercury. Pretty much as soon as I submit that information on there, the ambassadors receive that like a text message per se.
Okay.
And they stay up to date with that information. Not only that, we contact the supervisors if it's something that we need to urgently tackle. And the supervisors are helping us, management, communicate with the team as well to make sure that everyone is aligned.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comments at this time?
Yes, we do. Kevin Burton, if you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Kevin Burton, West Hollywood. I just wanted to comment on one of the roles played by the security ambassadors, that is to act as the eyes and ears of law enforcement in the many areas of the city that they patrol. And they have various ancillary duties as well, like picking up scooters and bikes that are lying on their side and sidewalks. So they do a lot of things. And it seems to me that in their role as eyes and ears, one area they could be very helpful in is illegally parked vehicles, because there aren't nearly enough parking enforcement officers to meet the demand of the city. Various neighborhoods and business districts have a lot of problem with the illegally parked vehicles. It may take a little while for parking enforcement to respond, and the community asks for more parking enforcement. It's kind of like a squeaky wheel. One area of the city might get more for a while, and then another area complains more. So they shift limited resources. But the security ambassadors have eyes, and they see this in their patrols all the time. It seems to me it'd be entirely appropriate within their duties, if they see illegally parked vehicles, to call that in to parking enforcement and report it, and to make that an official part of their duties. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And our final speaker is Tom DeMille. Tom, you'll have 3 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank the security ambassadors. I know most of them. I taught them a lot out there. I was out there for 30 years before they showed up, right? So I know what I'm doing out there. And unless ambassadors, ambassadors. To call them ambassadors means we hire ambassadors to communicate with other countries, to communicate with other people at everything. And they're our ambassadors. But ambassadors aren't really ambassadors. They're not security, and they're not ambassadors. They're not either one of them. I think you're named wrong. I think you're named wrong because you're neither one of them. And to be an ambassador, these people that are out on the sidewalks need to say hello to every single person they see. Across the board. Say hello to every single person you see. And see how the city changes. As far as security, I'm sorry, I didn't have dinner tonight. How much time do I have? I guess a lot. These folks have to communicate with one another. I wouldn't want to send the sheriff out if she or he could not call someone and say, hey, I need help. I wouldn't want to do that. Why are you? Why are you? And why doesn't the sheriff demand that not only that you require that, but require the sheriff to be able to say, hey guys, all at once, I need you at 8855. I need you at 4242. Help, I need help from the sheriff. It's a different button. But if they can't communicate and they can't say hello to everybody on the street, first of all, they're sitting ducks, because the people that are coming to the city, they're not equipped to handle them. None of these people are street smart like myself. I can survive anywhere in the world, but these kids couldn't. And you put them out on the streets and expect different results, you're not going to get it. However, if you ask them to say hello to everybody, they might get better results than what they're getting now. So the numbers don't climb every time, they start decreasing. And I couldn't tell you whether they were plus or minus. I couldn't see the variance of any of those numbers. They're not worth anything to any of us. The numbers that are worth anything to us is today. That's what we have to worry about, today. Not last month or reports or if it's going up or going down. It's today. If we handle like each day, like it's a new day, which it is, and we have to start West Hollywood all over again every 24 hours. But it happens, with or without us. Mostly without us. We let time pass and people come through and go through our apartments and steal our shit and, so we just need to be a little bit smarter with all of this, okay? I implore you to do
Thank
that,
you.
the new chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Speakers.
Commissioner Holman.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to follow up. I know a while ago we discussed having the east side kiosk at the Dillon deployed on Sunday. Do we have an update with that? I know the kiosk is housed at the UPS store, but I believe they were going to grant permission to have access so we could have someone there, because it is vital to have an ambassador on that corner, 7 days a week.
Currently, we do have the ambassador posted at Santa Monica and La Brea right in front of the UPS.
On Sunday?
No, every day.
So, but I mean, so 7 days a week, there's someone out?
That is correct, 7 days a week.
Okay,
That is correct.
perfect.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we are going to swap 8D and 8E. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of your service, your report. And next up, we will move to the Sheriff's Department Hate Crimes Bureau. And we're going to receive a presentation from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on hate crimes. Welcome. There's fine. There's fine, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Perfect. Good evening, Detective Doherty with the Major Crimes Bureau Hate Crime Task Force. I'm the Hate Crime Coordinator countywide for the Sheriff's Department, and I'm just going to give you a brief presentation about identification of hate crimes, hate incidents, and how our department handle both. So let's start with actually defining what is a hate crime, because I know this is a very confusing subject to a lot of people. So a hate crime is any criminal act or an attempt, and that act is because of the victim's perceived or actual traits, and only those traits that fall under the hate crime penal code is going to be considered as a hate crime. With that, we have gender, ethnicity, race, religion, sexual orientation, disability, or association. Association, as we translate it, means if you don't have to be a member of that community or group, it's enough that the suspect identify you as such. It's enough that you come to a Pride parade and you are not part of the LGBTQ community, but you are being assaulted. You don't need to be part of that community. Your association is enough for us to show a bias. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the suspect's bias towards those groups. In comparison, we have a hate incident. A hate incident is not a crime. Basically, it's going to be a hate speech or distribution of hate materials without causing damage, no vandalism, no crime associated to that. So once somebody calls 911 or call our business line and request to speak to deputies due to a hate crime or hate incident, Deputies are arriving at the scene and they're going through extensive training to recognize and identify if the crime in front of them is a hate motivated or if it's not a crime and it's an incident. They will provide a police report regardless. So even if it's a hate incident, we are taking a police report for hate incident, and those are for documentation purposes. It's not a crime, we can't investigate that, but the hate crime is one of the only crimes that we're able to use previous biases and incident to prove that the suspect, in fact, had bias against a certain community. Once the deputies generate a report, they also provide the victim with the opportunity to become confidential. So the report is not public, it's protected, and their name will not be called in court or such. We do the same, we extend the same confidentiality to sex victims. So the Sheriff's Department see those hate crimes as very serious crimes. So we provide that option to victims. The deputies will notify their hate crime coordinator. It's a detective at each station. We have 28 detectives countywide that I oversee. There are detectives on the station level, and they notify me of any hate crime or hate incident. If it's any hate crime where a suspect is arrested, the deputies will contact the on-call hate crime detective on major crime side and will notify us of the arrest. The majority of those cases, the hate crime cases, are going to be assigned to a station detective. Major crimes will handle major crimes cases, which include cases that might cross jurisdictions, that we need to work with our FBI partners, a serial hate crime, a serious hate crime that might need a little bit more resources than on the station level. The detectives' main goal is to investigate the case, to identify and arrest the suspect. Once the suspect is in custody, which means he was being arrested, they will present the case to our hate crime district attorney. So all hate crimes in LA County and in some cities are being filed by a special DA who is hate crime DA. So what do I do on the hate crime task force? Well, I receive and track all hate crimes and hate incidents countywide. We used to track all those reports so we can see trends. So we can predict, if you will. We can't really predict, but we can see correlation during the holiday, Pride Month, political praising, protest. We can see where and when those increase in hate crime or hate incidents occur and help station by requesting additional resources to those stations. I'm also provided detectives with assistance in investigations crime, in training. We teach all patrol stations, sergeant school, and even communities, if they request LGBTQ commission. I presented there a few times. So upon request, we're always willing to come and teach and explain about hate crimes, and we provide outreach. So I'm the Jewish community liaison for the department. We have a Muslim community liaison, LGBTQ community liaison, and so on. I'm not going to talk about statistics because we can determine statistics so early in the year for us, but I'm going to show you a page that is a public page on our sheriff's website. If you go to lasd.org and you search for hate crimes, you can see all current hate crimes being presented for public view. There is no exact address. We're not allowed to share those, but you can see what is the majority of the crime for the month of January or February. So it's very easily accessed to the public. So as I mentioned before, we provide training to the majority of the department. That includes our dispatch school, patrol school. We work with sergeant school, and we have our annual hate crime summit. That's our big event. This is the event that we invite all our hate crime coordinators. We invite stakeholders and public figures, leaders within the community. And we have a very large event, round table. They are able to ask questions, and we conduct introduction between local stations and local leadership groups to maintain communication and collaboration. So as I mentioned before, we provide additional training and support to all our stations. We created the hate crime checklist, which assists our deputies in the field in determining if it's a hate crime or a hate incident, and what's their next step, who do they need to notify, and so on. We just refreshed our hate crime pamphlet lately, and we extended our community outreach. That's my email address. If there is communities that would like us to come and speak or they have questions, please feel free to email me and we'll be more than happy to work together.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions? Any questions? Vice Chair Blau?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Detective Doherty, for this report. I appreciate it. So, just coming out of June, and I think given the current political climate, we as a commission here in the city of West Hollywood, we're really keen to hear from you and learn about hate crimes as a community, so that we know what we're looking out for. One of the things that you mentioned that I think is really important to note here is the importance of reporting hate incidents, which aren't necessarily hate crimes. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, because while they themselves can't be prosecuted, hate incidents, they can help provide a formal record of an individual's bias against a group for later kind of prosecuting, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I cannot say it enough because I speak to victims every day, and people don't report because they think it's silly. Oh, it's not a crime. I don't see why I should report it. But a person that is acting in a certain way might do more than just talk. He might do more than just give some pamphlet with swastikas on them. And when he does, it's not always black and white. Sometimes it's hard to prove that this person attacked this victim because he is whatever that be.
Right.
So for us, having those 8 incidents and showing, no, this person went to a club in West Hollywood and he was outside and he was shouting and insulting people. He didn't do anything criminally, but showing that bias is going to help us prove that.
That's clear to me, and I definitely see the benefit with that. One last question as well. Can you help me understand, I know that there is a practical difference, but what is the difference between prosecuting a crime that is just criminal versus, I think my understanding is a hate crime is sort of like an addendum to, prosecuting a standard crime, whether it be like harassment, stalking, those kinds of things, which are ordinarily, criminal crimes.
That's a very good question. So when it comes to hate crimes, the way to look at it is first, it's considered a crime that affects not one person, because if you got assaulted because you just walked down the street and you got assaulted, okay, you are the victim. But if LGBTQ community member was assaulted because of that, that affects the whole community. So those crimes are being treated in such regard that, in fact, they're adding 3, 4, 5 years to a sentence, to a suspect. So a suspect that decided to vandalize a synagogue is not going to get the same punishment of a suspect that just decided to vandalize random wall.
Got it. Okay. And so that increased punishment sort of goes to connect to the indirect impact of the crime on a broader community as well.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Ng.
Thank you, Chair. I think the comment that was made about reporting hate incidences are very important, and I want to just remind people, or I think one thing, another deterrent is sometimes people think it's a hassle to report, but we here allow reporting online. Lieutenant Turner, I don't know if you can remind us about what that procedure is, or Director Rivas, but I know that we have the capability here to report these sort of things online as well, or to have reports taken that way. Yep.
So when it comes to hate incidents, not yet. We are in the process of, and that's when it comes countywide. I'm not going to speak for West Hollywood, but countywide, we're not allowing that yet. And although I am looking into the online option, for me, and this is my personal opinion, hate incidents sometimes getting mistaken to being incidents, and there might be a hate crime. And in addition to that, those incidents are serious. Even if it's somebody yelling some racial slurs, it's serious to that person. And I'd rather have a deputy see them in person and determine what is going on, and that we have the correct charge or the correct incident that occurred. So that's my opinion. I think that there is systems out there that might provide us more of a close relationship with victims or people that going to call. I just don't think we're there yet. We are working on it. The Sheriff's Department is working on it.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Detective. My question is if you could give some more detail or clarification to hate speech versus the comment section. Right now, there are some vile comments out there in many different spaces in local issues, and also like threats in comments that are happening online. Is that hate speech, or is that a comment?
So there is, when it comes to online, there is a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to online comments, a threat is very specific. The victim have to believe that he is in a real danger to his life, and the suspect is able to carry that threat. So that's one thing, right? If somebody is posting, I'm gonna come to your house and shoot you, I know where you live, and you give the address, that's a threat. That's scary.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if somebody say racial slurs, that's a hate incident. And if somebody is getting messages, and we had those. We had rabbis getting messages anti-Jewish messages. That's a hate incident. And if that person continually texting the rabbi and emailing, it can turn criminal eventually.
Can I ask a very specific question, and it might sound silly? When you're talking about groups or an association with a group, and we're talking about how people get around, and someone says, I'm going to run you over with my car, is that a hate incident, a threat to someone that uses a bicycle or walks around the city? Is that even an association that you would consider?
To a hate crime?
Yeah.
I need a little bit more information.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's not one of the standard bullet points.
But I
there.
would like to try to answer it,
Okay.
right? Is the person following somebody, and I will try to give you an example. Somebody is on a bicycle and they have the LGBTQ flag on. And this guy driving behind him and unprovoked, they had never seen each other, saying that to him, hey, I'm gonna run you over because. Yeah, that's a hate crime.
Okay.
But if a minute before the bicyclist gave him, cussed him or cut him off, and now he's cursing him, and he's telling him, I'm gonna run you over, you might have a crime, but there is no bias.
Got
There's
it.
just a road rage, but you can have a hate incident. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah, I appreciate the nuance there. Thanks.
Commissioner Post?
Hi, yeah, I know you spoke a little bit to the training that your officers have when dealing with victims of these hate crimes. Just last month, we heard from the UCLA Rape Treatment Center and believe they have folks, especially when an incident happens, that are more like victim advocates. Do you have anybody that's specific to the hate crime division that is offered as like a victim advocate to folks that come through when they have a hate crime incident?
So LA County works with 211, LA versus 8, and California versus 8. Beside that, I have certain groups that I work with, and I know they do a good job, and if I have a victim, I can offer her. We cannot make the victims ask for it, but we can provide a phone number and have them call them. They have to call personally. So we do have, I worked a few times with Transgender Latino Coalition. They always provide help to my transgender victims, and it's been good with them. I worked through the DA's office with witness advocacy groups. They are great. So I think there is a lot of out there. It all depends who is the victim, so we can connect them to the correct group.
Yeah, thank you for that response, and thank you for calling out the transgender population specifically. I also just want to share with folks that they should review the AG Bonta's hate crime report if they're interested. That's for California-wide, not LA County specifically, but even just looking at some of those statewide statistics, even though anti-LGBTQ bias events fell by supposedly 35% between 2024 and 2025, anti-transgender bias events rose from 73 instances to 90 instances from the same year. So we definitely know those populations are being targeted, and we appreciate that you have the cultural competency to work with those folks when they come in.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ng?
Thank you. Actually, Commissioner Post, or soon-to-be Vice Chair Post, regarding your comment, I know that LA versus Hate is very proactive. I know someone who works for the organization. They knew that I lived in West Hollywood, and when the incident happened with Anthony Vulin and his family, they actually reached out to me to connect with them. So I do know that when they hear of incidences or situations that happen, they are very proactive.
We actually have them on our pamphlet that we are giving to victims. So we do provide their direct contact.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Can you maybe, for the public that's here and us who didn't have a chance to go through the report, highlight some trends that you're seeing, just some general trends that you're seeing that are good or bad? that we should all be aware of?
Unfortunately, I'm in the business of bad trends, so I'm tracking the bad ones. But it's too early, so we are very careful when we look on waves because it can come and go, and it's. But during the anti-ICE protest, we saw a lot of assaults against the Latino community. So this is a trend. For example, during Pride Month, we'll see more increase in hate incident and hate crimes against the LGBTQ community. So this is how those trend works. Now, it's not every year. It's not going to be like that every year. Sometimes it's what's the flavor of the month. Is it somebody was on the news, the war, whatever that be, it's going to attract a certain trend.
Thank you. Makes sense. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, we have one public comment. Tom DeMille. Is he still here? Okay. Then we have no public comments.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. We will now move on to our LA County Fire Department's monthly report. Welcome.
Am I supposed to put that on or? Oh, good. Okay. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Megan Courier, and I am the Community Services Liaison for Division 7 of the LA County Fire Department. Chief Smith wasn't able to make it tonight, so I'm going to be presenting the fire activity report to you all. So, in the month of June, there were 645 total responses. 8 of them were fires, 512 medical responses, 0 hazardous situations, 26 calls for public service, and 99 good intent calls. Of the 512 patients seen, 56 of those were unhoused individuals. In terms of our transports for the month, there were 129 advanced life support transports and 210 basic life support transports. The next part of the report is something that I heard mentioned in previous meetings when I was watching the videos of the meetings. I heard different commissioners requesting age-related data. So I added a graph that shows patient gender. There was an age component also, but I removed that key because I just try to remove as much potentially identifying information as possible when I create the reports. But this should give you a better idea of how many patients we see within each of the age ranges on the chart. The next part of the report is incidents by location type. This is a pie chart, and it shows the different areas that we responded to medical calls over the past month. Of the 8 fires, there were 7 outdoor rubbish fires and 1 cooking fire, a kitchen fire. You can see there. There were 0 other noteworthy incidents, no hazardous situations. And before I move on to questions, I just wanted to highlight, I know that Chief Smith has mentioned in the past that we switched over to a new reporting system, January 1, 2026. So we went from a system called NFIRS, which stands for National Fire Incident Reporting System. And then we switched over to our new system is called NERIS, and that stands for National Emergency Response Information System. And that wasn't just the LA County Fire Department that did that. That was a nationwide change. The entire fire service across the country switched on January 1st to this new reporting system. So it was kind of a big deal, and a lot of the categories and the internal reporting system was changed. So that's why there's been a little bit of kind of growing pains with that. But it's an evolving system, and we have an internal team working on making sure that the data is as accurate as possible when we create these reports. I also had a small update in relation to the flooding incident on July 16th. So I spoke with the battalion chief earlier today before coming in here, and there are still 5 hydrants in Fire Station 7's jurisdiction which are out of service. However, there are fire hydrants directly across the street from those that are in service, and there are also 2 high-capacity water tenders staged in the area in case they need to assist with fire emergency operations in case of a fire in that area. So it should be pretty well covered if anything were to happen. That is pretty much all I have for the moment, unless any of you have any questions for me.
Commissioner Winnick?
I have one, which is looking at the patient gender and age range. There isn't a key, and I don't know what the colors stand for.
So, like I said a little bit ago, I tried to remove as much potentially identifying information as possible. So I just left the age range count on there.
Okay, well, but it also says gender, and there are 2 different colors. And
yeah, and so this is a graph. This image comes from one of the pre-designated graphs in the system, and so it's not something that I created. But in the future, I can transfer this into another graph so that it's not confusing. This is just the first time I've added it.
Okay, I mean, I think that, you know, in the city, there may be some relevance to knowing if the people who are needing care are identified by any particular gender, or whether it's, you know, across the board, or also, I mean, for some incidents, transgender people are particularly at risk, and it's kind of important to be aware of who is requiring the services.
I definitely can include that information. I just didn't this time,
Okay.
but it's something that I can include in the future if that's something that the commission would like to see moving forward.
Thank you.
So I'll make a note of that.
Commissioner Ng?
Thank you. Acting Chief Courier, this is sort of not related to what we're talking about, but during Ciclavia, I noticed that the station house on Santa Monica was selling T-shirts to fundraise. They were trying to obtain a new barbecue. How does it work? Like, I know in the past, sheriffs have been able to request, I guess, ancillary equipment or life-enhancing equipment. Is there no way for our fire houses to do that as well?
So there is. Over the past couple of years, we had a fire department foundation that was dissolved because there were some internal issues with that, but then we have created a new department foundation that just debuted. So I can send the foundation information over, and you can make donations and specify that they go to a specific station or a specific area through that venue. Or, like I said, some of the stations do their own fundraisers, like you mentioned, with the T-shirts or things like that.
Yeah, but I'm asking why they can't just request it from the city versus having to fundraise.
So they can request it from the fire department budget, but we have a limited budget, so it has to go to, we have 19 stations in Division 7, and we have a set budget for the year, and they have to spread that between all of the stations, so sometimes the requests are not approved, so they try to go about it their own way.
Anybody wants to donate a barbecue to station on
Yes,
Santa
and that is
Monica?
very welcome. If anyone wanted to do that, they would be more than willing to take it.
Commissioners, Commissioner Pilarski?
Thank you for that great presentation. I did want to say specifically about the fire hydrants, because I had that as one of my comments, so you already knew I was going to ask. And I also wanted to say thank you as well for the update about the reporting system. It's important that we know, I think it's important that as residents, we understand what you guys are using in comparison to the nation. Obviously, you know, we've got a lot of fires here in California, so as we're understanding the information, knowing that countrywide, you're saying that all of these agencies are using it. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Of course. And I am actually the one who creates these reports, so I know Chief Smith does a great job of reporting them, but if you have any specific questions or you want any changes, you guys can reach out to Danny or to the staff, and they can reach out directly to me, and I'll make those changes.
You may want to not let people know that, but you'll probably have some requests. Do we have any public comments at this time?
Yes, we do. Steve Martin, if you're still here, you will have 3 minutes.
Steve Martin, West Hollywood, still here. I want to thank Commissioner Post for his endorsement of shorts. I think that was very timely. It is summer. Also, you know, it is the return to summer, and at Station 8, they're carrying on the tradition of having the lounge out in front of the station. So it's really nice to walk by and see the personnel out there hanging out. And they're really friendly, and they also really provide a nice eye on the street. And I just find that it's really accessible and makes the station, whatever, more personable to the people in the community. So I want to thank whatever to that. Also, probably a little off, but we do want to welcome the fire department, our other first responders, the sheriff's department, for National Night Out, which is going to be on August 4th. And we look forward to seeing all of you in the city council coming around. East Side is going to be at Lexington and Gardner again, and we're having a good event. There's National Night Out events across the city. I know all of you are going to be very busy hustling to get to all the different events, but we really do appreciate the fact that you make yourself visible to people in the community so people can ask questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. That is all the public comments.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the report. All right. Next, we will move up to our friends, the Sheriff's Department, for their report. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. For the month of June, West Hollywood Station personnel handled a total of 1,780 calls for service. 80 of those calls were for an emergency response. Deputies made 52 felony arrests and 194 misdemeanor arrests. Our Part 1 crimes for the month, we had 160 incidents. And when broken down by district, the West accounted for 62% with 99 incidents. City Center, 15% with 24 incidents. East, 23% with 37 Part 1 crimes. There were a total of 27 pickpocket thefts in the month of June. Our MET team responded to a total of 49 incidents, and our SORT submissions were at 81. Our West Hollywood Station volunteers donated a total of 229 hours in the month of June. And I wanted to touch on some traffic incidents which occurred in the city in the month of June. There were a total of 2 vehicle versus pedestrian traffic collisions. One, the driver was determined at fault, and the other incident is still under active investigation. For the month of June, there were 2 vehicle versus bicyclist collisions. One, the driver was at fault, and the other is still under investigation. 3 vehicle versus scooter or e-bike accidents occurred. One, the driver was at fault, and the additional 2 are still under investigation. Next month, a bicycle, scooter, and pedestrian safety operation is planned. During the operation, officers will issue citations for violations while also conducting educational outreach. Because many scooter users are tourists renting the devices, outreach efforts will focus on informing them that riding scooters on sidewalks is prohibited and explaining the applicable safety rules. In June, 7 DUI arrests were made. Of the 7 aggravated assaults that occurred, 2 arrests have been made. Our entertainment policing team has continued to be present outside of the bars and clubs in the Rainbow District and has been successful in keeping the hot dog vendors from vending in front of our bars, clubs, and restaurants. The cops team has continued conducting bicycle patrols throughout residential neighborhoods and the business districts. We had a successful and safe ciclovia, which took place on Sunday, July 19th, despite the water main break and road closures. We are looking forward to National Night Out on Tuesday, August 4th. We will be posting information about the event on our social media platforms. Please be on the lookout for the information, and we look forward to interacting with the community on a very fun evening. I wanted to report back on a question from June's Public Safety Commission in regards to Proposition 36 and its measured effectiveness. Coincidentally, District Attorney Hockman was at the station shortly after the last commission, and he advised that 3,600 Prop 36 arrests were made for theft in the year 2025, and 2,000 Prop 36 arrests were made for narcotics in 2025 in Los Angeles County. And lastly, I wanted to publicly thank the LA County Fire Department under the amazing leadership of Chief Drew Smith, City Council, City Manager Jackie Rocco for her leadership, Assistant City Manager Campbell, Director Rivas, Director Collins, and all of your city staff who work behind the scenes at all hours of the day and night, and of course LADWP for their relentless work day in and day out in the heat and humidity to get the job done. This past week, coming to work was never a chore, but a collaborative mission to support the residents impacted by the water main break. West Hollywood Station is truly grateful to work with such amazing partners. And with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Commissioners? Vice Chair Blau? Or Chair Blau, I guess.
No, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant Turner, thanks for the report. We're just talking about hate crimes, and I don't see that as a category in our reporting at all. If I remember correctly from Lieutenant Duran previously, the definition of Part 1 crimes is something that's related from the FBI, I think, categorized in there. How does hate crime kind of fit into what we report here, if there are any incidents in the city of West Hollywood?
I don't think that is something that is on this sheet, but it's definitely something that we can easily add moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
And so it would basically just be would you see it as being a different row or category, or because I think it's sometimes, from my understanding, it could modify one of these things. Maybe not. Like aggravated assault could be a domestic aggravated assault regular, or hate crime. Right?
I don't think we would add it to this specific page, but I think on the City of West Hollywood, where we go into calls for service and the Met response, they would be a category we would add there. How many hate incidents and hate crimes we had for the month that we're reporting on.
Yeah, I think that would be really good to be able to see on a regular basis. It also sounds like West Hollywood Station should have a hate crime coordinator person. Is that accurate?
We do have a detective that is designated as the hate crime coordinator at West Hollywood Station. That's correct.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And just to add to that real quick, I did make some notes during the last presentation. It came up if we were able to report a hate incident via SORTS, and SORTS is our online reporting system. And I think the detective spoke very correctly on this. It is something that we do want interaction on to make sure we capture everything that's going on. But one of the things we're looking at doing that Palmdale Station has successfully done is initiate a virtual deputy program. And what that means is you can go online and schedule an appointment with a deputy, and you'll have a face-to-face encounter on Microsoft Teams. And that's something we're working to implement, and that would be the right place for a hate incident report to be captured if they didn't want to meet in person.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eng?
Thank you, Chair. Okay, I have a few random things, Lieutenant. I noticed on the report that domestic violence reports were up 350%. Is there a theory or explanation for that?
It's a trend, and no theory or explanation. Summertime, we do see increases in crime in general, but to give you a specific reason why, I could not answer that.
Okay. And then I was not here for the last meeting, but I did watch the Met presentation, and I heard you say that the officer had retired that had been in charge. Has he been replaced?
He has.
Okay.
Yes.
And how is that new officer trained? Because I know you were really extensive on talking about how the retiring officer, all the training that he had done. So can you, is the new replacement the same level?
He is trained exactly the same way. I actually worked with him years ago in patrol. He's been on quite some time on the department. And I expect nothing but good things from him also. So we're very lucky to have him.
Thank you. And then lastly, you know, I mentioned Jackie Harrington, who seems to be at least known on the east side. So I did have several neighbors reach out. I told them to call the sheriff's department, and I know in one situation they called and they were just told, just call back when you see him. There was sort of, didn't seem to be any knowledge. So I'm wondering if that's something station-wide that's discussed, that like a known problem is back in the neighborhood.
The station is aware Jackie Harrington is back in the neighborhood. Everyone is very familiar with him. I didn't bring any statistics tonight as far as calls regarding that individual, but we are definitely aware of the individual and what he's capable of.
I just had a quick question about the upcoming patrol that you're going to be doing specific to scooters and e-bikes. Do you do those on the street? Are you physically on the street, or you do those from the cruisers? How do you notify individuals when you see them on the sidewalk? Is this something that you're walking the streets, or are you in your cars?
So this is something new we're doing because it has come up that, you know, a lot of these scooter riders are from different countries, and there are little disclaimers, stickers on the scooters that, you know, I'm not sure everyone reads them, or, you know, if they can necessarily, if English isn't their first language, that they understand what it says. So we're going to do a mixture of people out on the street, people on motorcycles, as well as people in black and white patrol vehicles. So it's kind of going to be a new hybrid program that we're doing this time.
That's great. I'm really curious to see how that turns out. Commissioner Pilarski. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. On that note, I know we had talked about this a couple months ago. I had reached out to you regarding a ride-along because I felt like maybe some of our deputies weren't necessarily familiar with or needed a reassociation with what pedestrians and cyclists are allowed to do. So before we go out there and start handing out tickets to people walking on the sidewalk or riding their bike, are they familiar with that, you know, bicyclists are able to take the full lane and all those things? Are, you know, just a refresher on that?
Yes, the traffic sergeant has been in briefings,
Okay.
And conducting briefings and logging briefings to make sure everyone is up to par on those vehicle code violations.
Thank you.
Commissioner Post.
Yes, thanks for mentioning the Met team, Commissioner Ng. The number I wanted to call out was the services offered and accepted. I know it seems that in the unhoused outreach, you offered 75 instances of service, but 0 were accepted. It's a pretty low rate, unfortunately, and I think our human services team probably has hopefully a little bit higher of a rate there, but can you just walk us through what it means when somebody's offered services and then they're not accepted? Are they referred to human services? I know we were doing our coordinated response framework. Is that something that you all talk about in your monthly meetings, or is there something that's more immediate after someone denies the services that are offered?
So our COPS team goes out twice a month with human services, and they conduct outreach. And unfortunately, it just takes, you know, repetitiveness and repeat contacts to get to the point where people are accepting services. And, you know, some months are low, some months are a little bit higher, but it does take that repetitive contact and building those relationships so that people do feel comfortable and confident in accepting services.
Thank you.
Commissioner Holman.
Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant Turner, because I'm in the Rainbow District most Friday and Saturday nights working, I have noticed a stronger presence with the entertainment team, so I wanted to thank you, because it's great seeing them out on the weekends. Obviously, we want all of our residents and guests that come to the city to have a great time, but we also want them to have a safe time and to be safe as well. So thank you for the deployment. I think it's just great seeing them out. You know, it gets really busy on Friday and Saturday nights and everyone's having a good time, but it's important that everyone is safe and feels safe. So thank you.
I will pass that along to the team. Thank you.
Commissioner Winnick?
Yeah, at the risk of beating a dead horse, on the scooters, I walk a lot. I walk everywhere. And I'm on the sidewalk. And many times I've had usually younger people come screaming past me. And I'll say, "You belong on the street." And almost invariably, they curse me out and have very unpleasant things to say to me. So my view is that maybe some of them are tourists and maybe some of them don't understand English, but plenty of them understand exactly what they're doing, and that we really need to start handing out citations and warnings so that there's actually some teeth to the enforcement, because I'm pretty able-bodied and I can get out of the way. But we have a lot of citizens who have more difficulty getting out of the way. We have some citizens who've been badly injured when they've been struck by scooters. And I just think we need to get stiffer about it, because it's not all these innocent tourists. It's kids who are telling me to F off.
Absolutely, I agree. I have 4 dogs and run into this problem all the time walking. So it's not going to be we're just doing education for everyone. I can promise you that. We're going to differentiate who's who and use discretion on who we're issuing citations versus education. So if I came off that we were just doing education, I apologize. That is not the case.
Commissioners, thank you. Do we have any public comments at this time?
Yes, first public comment is Nick Roybal. Nick, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello again, Commissioners. Thank you, Lieutenant, for your report. I really appreciate all your work. And Captain Lapkin, you both are stewards for our city, and I'm grateful for every deputy that serves us. That said, in June, Flock generated 88 stolen vehicles. 88 alerts became 6 investigations. 6 investigations became 3 recovered vehicles. And of those 3, only 2 had a suspect in custody. 88 alerts, 2 suspects, that's about 2%. Meanwhile, arrests citywide are up 43%. And that rise came from patrol work, from investigative work, not from a camera network reading plates. So, Commissioners, I filed a Public Records Act request. I asked for something basic, a current map of where these ALPR and fixed cameras actually sit. When they went up, the records behind the 54 fixed cameras this council has approved since 2024. The city has never published one. The only public map of ALPR infrastructure anywhere near West Hollywood comes from an independent, volunteer-run project, not from the city that owns these cameras, operates these cameras, points these cameras at every car that passes through. Residents can learn more about their own surveillance from strangers on the internet than from the agency doing the surveilling. So, when this city says the system keeps us safe, ask what that safety is actually built on, not the data. 2 suspects in custody is not a case for 3 more years of this contract, and not transparency. Not when a city running dozens of cameras on public streets can't produce a map, and a handful of volunteers already have. So I'm asking you, Commissioners, for 2 things. First, to continue the monthly outcome reporting going forward. Hits that led to arrests, outside agency requests, denials under the new ICE policy. And second, that the city publish its camera maps proactively, instead of leaving residents to file requests one at a time or trust a crowdsourced guess. This council already gave the contract 3 more years. The least this commission can do is make sure that the public is not asked to spend all 3 of those years with trust us. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Next, we have Ed Holman. Ed, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commission. First, I'm also doing a National Night Out on my street, Flores, so like Steve Martin, come see ours as well. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm back tonight because the garage gate code problem isn't going away, and neither am I. It's a documented, ongoing safety breach, and the city's response is falling short. I have a video of an Athens employee using a code to enter a garage, and now there's security camera footage showing an Athens service worker actively writing a garage code back onto a building wall in Crescent Heights. After the resident scrubbed it off, when that resident reached out for help, she was shuffled from public safety to the sheriff's department, where deputies didn't even know what she was talking about. This is unacceptable. When private security codes are broadcast on our buildings' walls, our homes, our vehicles, and our personal safety are compromised. Yet Athens continues to hide behind corporate boilerplate, claiming digitally stored codes mean this doesn't happen, while their workers are on the streets doing the exact opposite. There's video proof. We need accountability and clear action. The city must hold Athens accountable to its contract. If their employees deface property and compromise resident security, there must be real enforcement and financial consequences. 2, stop directing residents in a dead-end phone loop. Public safety needs a clear, active protocol for reporting and immediately documenting these exposed codes. 3, direct public outreach. The city spends thousands mailing flyers for festivals and entertainment. It's time to invest those same resources into a public safety mailer that actively educates residents on what these codes look like and how to report them. Numerous city officials have said that public safety is a high priority, and they also say if you see something, say something. Well, I saw something, I said something, now it's time for the city to do something. In a recent rent stabilization newsletter, there was a mention of codes, but it's misleading because it talks about building's front door. It even shows a photo of a front door keypad. That's not what these are the garage codes. Could the commission please ask the sheriff to comment on a recent WeHo online article that shows the security footage of an Athens employee writing the gate code on the building? What is the message to residents from public safety and the sheriff department if a resident were to call now? Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And our final speaker is Kathy Blavis. Kathy, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, good evening. Kathy Blavis, City of West Hollywood. Several months before our previous city manager, David Wilson, retired, he mentioned different ideas for safety measures on Fountain Avenue. I know subsequent to that, the speed limit was reduced, but I'm just wondering what, if any, other safety measures along Fountain Avenue have been put forward. I also always want to thank the Sheriff's Department. My experience with you is whenever there's been any situation in my neighborhood, there's a quick response. And so I thank you for your service, and be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. That is all the public comments.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your report. Next, we'll move on to items from staff. Are there any community safety updates tonight?
Thank you, Chair and members of the Commission. We'd like to, I know it's been mentioned a few times tonight, but we want to formally invite you and all members of the community to join us for National Night Out next week on Tuesday, August 4th. This nationwide event promotes public safety and neighborhood partnerships. Throughout the city, there will be 7 events hosted that evening. It's going to be a great opportunity to meet with neighbors and public safety partners. For more details about the events happenings near you, please visit www.weho.org/NNO. The Los Angeles County Fire Department will be hosting Community Emergency Response Team training in the City of West Hollywood, also known as CERT training, beginning on September 1st at Plummer Park. The CERT program provides the public with basic training in safety and life-saving skills. To register for this free training, please visit the Los Angeles County Fire Department website or email cert@ at fire.lacounty.gov. Thank you to Jesse Anukum for scheduling these important trainings for the community. This concludes the updates from the Public Safety Division. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Pilarski.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the update. I did have some questions about our look ahead. I saw that it wasn't in the agenda, but I know we've been trying to give the public some more transparency about what we're going to be talking about each month at this commission. So do we have an update as for September, I guess, yeah, August and September?
Yes, the look ahead that we attached to the agenda last month is still up to date, and that represents each quarter what we will be discussing. The plan for August will be to have the Human Services Department come and speak to the Commission and share about all the various services available to the community. And then in September, we will move to the Emergency Response Plan update.
Okay, thank you. And then one of the things I've asked a couple of times was an understanding. I know our department meets with the public safety, the neighborhood watch groups. Do you have a date for the last time that you've met with the neighborhood watch groups?
The last Neighborhood Watch Captains meeting that was held was last week on Tuesday, July 21st.
Okay, thank you for that update. So if anyone's watching or interested in getting some updates from their neighborhood watch group, you should reach out to your watch captain. And also, I think if they are not part of a group, but they want to be part of a group, they should reach out to our safety department, and the safety department will connect them with the watch captain, right?
That's correct. So
Okay.
if you already live in an area that has an established neighborhood watch group, if you reach out to us, we can connect you with that group and that captain. If you live in an area which does not have a neighborhood watch group established, we're happy to work with you and talk about establishing a new neighborhood watch group in your area. And if you have any questions on that or want to connect, you're welcome to email us at safety@weho.org.
Thanks for reiterating that. I know that with National Night Out. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any public comments this time?
Yes, Kyle Brazil. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Kyle Brazil, resident in West Hollywood. Some of the discussion tonight prompted me to come up to speak about an experience I was able to have yesterday. I scheduled a ride-along with the LA County Sheriff's Department, and there's a backlog for the West Hollywood station, but I was able to get a slot with the Century Sheriff's Station in Linwood. During that experience, great experience, open to anyone. I highly encourage anyone that has strong feelings about public safety and how they engage in the community to do that. But during that ride-along, we actually got to see the flock cameras in action. While in Linwood, there was a vehicle that drove through, and in the deputy's patrol car, they received an image of the car, license plate, back of the car, no identifying information about the driver in the image, no video surveillance, just a photograph of the car, the license plate, and it indicated that the individual had a felony warrant for their arrest. We didn't identify or find the car as it drove through the city, but it was a clear signal that there's a valuable tool that can enhance the way our deputies are engaging in the community. Doesn't require the addition of bodies, but that technology can really help us. I would equate it to similar conversations that we're having around the use of cameras to sight vehicles blocking bike lanes, right? We want to ensure our bike lanes remain open and safe and accessible to our cyclists. We're looking at the opportunity to use technology to enhance the way that we do that. I'd like the fact that we live in a city where our council majority, thanks to council members Heilman, Meister, and Hang, voted to invest in these technologies and tools to enhance the way our deputies are able to keep us safe. I feel a lot safer in West Hollywood than I do in surrounding areas, and I am thankful that our city has the foresight to invest in the technology and resources that we need to do that. So again, I would just say, I hope that we as a community can continue to have important conversations, be leaders in structuring those contracts to make sure that we address the data privacy concerns that have been brought up by our community. But I am very thankful that we have leadership that will invest behind those resources, and I'm thankful to the Sheriff's Department for the work that they do in keeping us safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. That is all the public comments.
Thank Thank you. We'll move on to commissioner comments. Commissioners? Commissioner Post? You look, is your hand raised? No.
I'm happy. I'll start us off. Appreciate all the public commenters that came tonight. Especially appreciate you, Nick, for sharing your perspective. I want to thank Councilmember Byers and Erickson for standing up for our most vulnerable in our community, especially immigrants and people of color, by voting no for our flock cameras. I did want to ask specifically for staff why that did not come back to us in the time frame. I'm assuming it was a time frame issue from when the council first kicked the can, per se, on the cameras, but I was surprised to not have seen that come back to us, especially with the amended language that was included. Was there any specific reason for that?
Thank you, Commissioner Post. So the item originally was presented to the City Council, and there was no direction to bring that item to the Commission. It was a direct request from the City Council initially when this project first started. And then as we have progressed with the program and conversations have come up, the last 2 meetings here at the Public Safety Commission, we brought back the policy allowing for input from our commission members. When we took the item back to the City Council, we made sure that all of your comments were included in there and highlighted in the staff report so they were aware of your review, your concerns, your comments, and then based on that, a decision was made by the City Council.
Thank you for that. I just felt like we had a more robust conversation amongst this body about the drones per se than we did about the cameras as a whole, and really vetting some of those policies. One of my other pieces with that I wanted to ask a question on, now that the drone has been approved and our safety technology is in operation, is there a timeline for the dashboard that was said to be created to keep the public informed about the events and uses of this technology?
The dashboard will go live as soon as we implement the actual drone into the city. The program goes live. It'll align to make sure that once the drone is in the air in the city of West Hollywood, that residents will be able to check the website and be able to track data that way.
Will we be able to give feedback on that dashboard?
Absolutely. You know, this is something that we're going to continue to talk about with the commission. It's, you know, a lot of the information about the cameras will be discussed as we move forward. So once that program is live, that will be announced here. And then everybody will have an opportunity and we could share the screen and then give everybody an opportunity to kind of review it and share feedback.
Thank you for answering my questions. I'll finish off with the rest of my comments. Since we last convened, it's also been a year since ICE came into our community, specifically here in West Hollywood. July 4th marked the year since the Santa Palm car wash raid. And so I just want to remind folks that we've had multiple folks taken here within our city. Thank you to the city staff and our city council for putting in the protections and the services and funding in place to help support those folks. But I think it's important to keep that front of mind. I also want to thank the fire department as well as LADWP for keeping our community safe during the water main break, as well as keeping us safe during Ciclavia. It was a really great event. Saw multiple commissioners out there as well. And then lastly, just thank you again for trusting me as vice chair. I'm looking forward to supporting Chair Blau and appreciate all of the work that we do together. Thank you.
Commissioner Pilarski. Commissioner Pilarski.
Thank you, Chair. I'll lead with my comments to thank you for your fearless leadership over the last year. You've been always leading with curiosity and recognizing that everybody's lived experience is different. So appreciate that. You know, that piece of leadership is really important when we're talking about these delicate things. Also, wanted to extend my utmost respect for our city staff and our emergency responders and local unions at LADWP that have been working around the clock to keep us informed and protected during these recent events. I want to use that opportunity to remind everyone that, things happen at any moment. So if you have your emergency water and your emergency food, make sure that stuff is kept up to date. I know we can, once in a while might get lazy, or I do it. I'll eat the food that I'm supposed to be keeping for an emergency. So just make sure that you have that ready to go. I did want to acknowledge the pushback and the concerns from our residents about the cameras. I know that there are so many different perspectives as how people feel safe and what these cameras can and can't be used for. I would just want to tell everyone watching, or if you're thinking about getting involved here, make sure you write your city council members or reach out to your neighbors and have the conversation. The best thing to do is have the conversation. And then, what was my last one? My last one here is to reiterate something I had mentioned in the hate crimes question, which was some of these things that are coming out in local places are quite nasty. And so if you're gonna say something online, make sure that you're ready to back it up in front of someone if they report you for it. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Winnick?
I also want to thank all our first responders for all the very hard work that you do and the care that you take of our community. And I also think that people who live in West Hollywood feel much safer than people who live in other places, and you make that happen. I have something that's a little bit offline, which is it's not just one water main that's gone out. There are more water mains going out. And although we're public safety and we're somewhat confined in what our brief is, there's a lot of discussion throughout the city about the need for development and how development is going to happen. And I'm personally concerned that there's a focus on, we need to put more units out there without thinking about very seriously what we have for resources and infrastructure, what our first responders can handle, what our water mains can handle, what our electrical service from SoCal Ed can handle. And it's really putting the cart before the horse to say, we're going to put up, a 60-unit apartment building here, and we're going to put up 7 stories over there, without also looking at how are people going to come and go, how are emergency vehicles going to come and go, how are they going to be serviced with the utilities that we all know and love and expect in our day-to-day lives. And so although that's not specifically this commission, it is, because safety goes to every aspect of our lives, and I'm afraid it's being overlooked with the push for development. That's my rant for today.
Commissioner Eng?
Thank you, Chair. And this actually was not going to say this, but it's going to be in response to what Commissioner Winnick just said. I actually had those same thoughts. And what's happening for me is that I have residents that are educating me on the fallacy of some of what you are supposing, which is actually what I suppose, about, say, for the impacts of a single-family home getting water and electricity versus a higher density building. So we can talk about that offline, because I have been sent data and information. And then I think going into this next round, the comment I'll make about the flock cameras in the system is that what I continually hear is that it caught the bank robber. It should have. That's what they were created for. And the analogy that I use is, for me, it's like GLP-1s. Will you lose weight? Yes, you will. But what else is happening to your body, to your systems, to society when these things happen? I think when I heard the situation or the comment about 1984, which I actually did read prior to 1984, I grew up with a very strong sense of Big Brother watching is not a good thing. So that's how I feel about that. And then I will say thank you to Chair Harrison for the wonderful job you've done shepherding this commission. I will congratulate incoming Chair Blau, and Vice Chair Post. And then I will finish with, as liaison, I did not attend BLC. There was no BLC meeting. Commissioner Post and I are co-liaisons for rent. You've been bearing that load. It was the first time that I went before that commission to deliver an update, so I thank you. And I was also able to make an update with the Russian Advisory Board, however, a day late because I got the schedule wrong, but I did submit comment to them with an update. Yeah, and then I don't know if you all mentioned that the Hotchman, the DA, is going to be here tomorrow, but I'll be back in this chamber tomorrow evening, and I hope most of you will be as well to see the DA, who has been invited by our LGBTQ commission. Thank you.
Chair Blau.
Thank you. No, yeah, not yet. No, I was like, wait, it's already. Thank you, Chair Harrison. I want to follow up on a couple items that public comment raised today. The first was about the parking enforcement, and especially the parking enforcement officers and their potential safety. Question for staff. Where does that fit within like anyone's purview? Making sure that parking enforcement officers are safe.
Thank you. We do have our parking division oversees that contract, and so we do work closely with them if there's any incidents that are happening. But it is under the purview of that department and their contract with their staff, and just kind of communicating with them on how to handle and de-escalate these situations and not put themselves in a situation with somebody who may be aggressive or attacking them. Of course, things happen, and when they do, we encourage them to report it so that the Sheriff's Department can get involved and we can hold people accountable.
Are you aware of increasing violent trends against the parking enforcement officers at all?
I wouldn't say there are any trends. It's just things that happen at certain times, and there's just unfortunate occurrences. But I wouldn't say that there's any a trend or an increase as of late.
Okay, thank you. Next one, with respect to the garage parking codes, what's the current status on ensuring that those codes are indeed removed from the garages that Athens, or I don't know if there's other service providers that have put them there?
Yeah, when the issue was first brought up, the city acted immediately to send out notifications via different avenues. We did a press release. We did an article in the rent stabilization newsletter. We reached out to even the Chamber of Commerce, the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Just different avenues. We reached out to all the neighborhood watch captains. We've been working with our Sheriff's Department. It's one of those things that, unfortunately, it's kind of re-happening. So it's just kind of continuing to share that information and work with our Sheriff's Department, and most importantly, work with our city contracted vendors to make sure that nobody is doing that or continuing to do that. Sometimes something that's done innocently, thinking it's just quick access, it helps the team get in and out and help the building. They don't, it's a domino effect of not realizing how that can impact in other ways. So I think it's that education piece and continuing that conversation. In this recent incident, it looks like it was removed and then replaced. So it's just going to be continuing education that we are going to continue to do with our contracted vendors.
Okay, and if residents of the city notice that kind of thing on their building, what's the best avenue for them to get that resolved? Maybe with
I
the
would
city
suggest
getting out on the...
several things. One would be to, if it's something that you can remove yourself, the faster the better, that it's not out there. Two, notify your property management company or your HOA if it is part of your building. And then three, if you see or know that it was done by a city contracted vendor, please reach out to us immediately so that we can address that with that company. Again, you can always email safety@weho.org and share any information that you have, but I think the first and most important thing to do is to remove that so that it won't be used in the wrong way.
Okay, great, thank you. Just two last things. I want to echo what Commissioner Pilarski said about online comments. I think what she just said in general kind of holds a lot of merit, that we need to continue to remind ourselves to hold ourselves to a higher standard in discourse, and not, sling mud around, or worse. The exchange of thoughts is, and differing of opinions is how we can all grow, but we have to do so respectfully. And then last thing, I want to thank Chair Harrison for his tenure and being a great role model as I step into this new role as chair, and also thank my fellow commissioners for the vote of confidence. I really hope to prove you all well. And then as well, congrats to Vice Chair, incoming post. Thank you.
It's all been said before. The best part about this commission is that they'll usually say everything that I may plan to. So once again, you leave me speechless. However, I want to definitely thank our city and our safety partners for their heroic actions last week. I mean, that was pretty unbelievable. And when mom calls from Philadelphia with concerns about your place being flooded, it's a pretty big deal. So I was very happy to see how you addressed it. I think, and to manage still to have cyclovia, the things that we did, it's pretty amazing. So thank you. With that, we are adjourned until our next meeting on Monday, August 4th at 6 p.m. Sorry, yeah.
The second class we did a tube dress, so that's something that's easy to hack or change, and then doing a utility bag, like a tote bag, but a little bit fancier.
Having been in the class the last few weeks, I can already attest how important workshops like this are. I know personally, as a drag artist, as I'm creating and generating new looks, generating new performances, having skills like this that I